at an average, more than 1 lakh people have been dying across the globe annually due to the fire incidents. India is no exception. Even in India, in one of the most dangerous fire accidents, more than 440 people have lost their life. Hi friends, this is Dinesh Malokar, and today we are going to talk about one of the most critical systems, that is the firefighting system. It is related to the fire and life safety of human being, which is priceless. So today we are going to talk about the complete structure of the firefighting system, the significance of various components, and how all these components are connected to each other, and overall how the system functions. Well, so let's get going on this. To start with, we have a water line coming to our fire tank. Now before the water falls into the fire tank, we have a water meter. The purpose of this water meter is to monitor daily consumption as well as on a monthly basis. This is used for billing purposes. Going next, the capacities of these fire tanks. So the capacities have been clearly specified in National Building Code of India 2016 chapter 4. To be precise here, for a building which is 60 meter and above, the capacity of this tank should be 2 lakh liters. For a building which is 45 meters to 60 meters, the capacity should be 1.5 lakh liters. For buildings which are 35 to 45 meters, the capacity should be 75,000 liters. For buildings which are below 35 meters, the capacity has not been specified. It is not mandatory to have a fire water tank which is underground, because there are some other mandates which have been given. I'll be speaking about that. Okay. Now going ahead, at the beginning you have two valves which are called the main outlet valves of the tanks. From these valves, the water goes to the common line which is called as suction manifold. From this manifold, there is other valve which are individually for different pumps. Here, this particular component you are able to see, this is called as a compensator or a bellow. This is at the suction side as well as on the discharge side of the pumps. The purpose of this bellow is to absorb vibrations due to flow as well as during starting and stopping. This will help from avoiding the cracks in the pump or any kind of leakages. So it will absorb those shocks or vibrations which comes because of running of the pump. Going ahead, there are 4 pumps specified here. If you see on the top, we have a hydrant pump, then a jockey pump, diesel driven fire pump, and a sprinkler pump. There are mainly 2 systems, though there could be more like drencher system. We are going to explain here a basic system for understanding. Though I have shown you only 4 pumps here, there could be 5 pumps, 6 pumps. Individual system could have its own jockey pump, own sprinkling pump, own hydrant pump, as well as a standby pump. There could be more pumps and which can be added, but the overall concept and working of the system is going to remain same. Clear? Well, so going next, if you see just after these bellows or the compensators, you have something called as NRV. So what is NRV? NRV is non-return valve. This means that it allows the flow of water only in one direction. In case if one pump is running and water wants to come back towards the section of other pump, this NRV does not allow that to happen. Well, we are going good now. Let's go ahead. After the NRV, we have 4 valves again. Now if you see at the inlet of the pump and outlet of the pump, you have individual valves. The purpose of these valves is that in case there is a leakage, or in case if you want to carry out any kind of repair and maintenance activities, this will help us isolating this particular section of the pump and repairs can be carried out. At the same time, rest of the system will remain untouched and it can be operated normally. Now going ahead, all these pumps, if you see, they meet to a common manifold here, which we call it as a discharge manifold. Now discharge manifold is again a pipeline where all these lines are getting connected. Simple? Well, I'm going to make it absolutely simple for you all. Trust me, after this session, you are going to have an excellent idea about how this system functions, what are the components and anything else that you need to know about the system. Well, so if you see, even in this connection, there is one more non-return valve here. So what's the purpose of this non-return valve? The purpose is that the sprinkler pump and its line should always remain charged. It has to remain charged. So it will allow the water only coming from this side to this side. At no point in time this will allow the water to go from sprinkling system to the other system or a hydrant system. Because if it allows that, the sprinkling system will get drained. And our sprinkling system has to remain charged at all point in time, and that is the purpose of giving this non-return valve. All these arrows you are able to see, these are the flow of the water that we are mentioning here. Well, going ahead, what would happen if the hydrant pump fails and we want to supply water to the hydrant system with the help of sprinkler pump? That is why there is an arrangement made here. If you see, from the sprinkling system also there is a valve and the line is taken, a bypass line is taken. So in case of emergency, you will be in a position to open this valve and supply water towards this side. Point is clear? Well, so now going ahead, there are three color codes I have given. One is red, one is kind of dark red I would say, and third is a blue line. But before we go to this section, you are able to see these grey color components which are called as pressure transducers. So what's the purpose of this pressure transducer? What happens if there is any kind of leakage or the pressure in the line reduces because of some other reasons like vaporization or purging or some other cases? The pressure in the line goes down. In that case, these pumps, main pump as well as the jockey pump, are supposed to start in auto mode. The same case in case of fire also. If the pressure reduces below certain value, the jockey pump will start automatically. It will pressurize the system again. It has a cut in and cut off value. Well, these values are different for different buildings. It depends on the height of the building and it depends the way the system is designed. Main pump as well, if the jockey pump runs continuously and if it is still not able to maintain that pressure, the main pump will start automatically and it will develop that pressure to ensure that we have sufficient pressure in a firefighting system. But the main pump needs to be stopped manually. It will not stop automatically. If we have a power issue and the power supply to these pumps is completely shut down and we cannot start these pumps manually or automatically with the electrical power, then we have the pump called as diesel driven fire pump. It's same like a diesel generator, except the difference that instead of having the generator part for electricity generator, we have a pump, and that pump will run with the help of diesel engine and it will still develop the pressure and ensure that water is supplied to the entire system. Let's go ahead now. From here, let's talk about the sprinkler system first. If you follow this line and if you are able to follow my hand, it goes here, and what you see here, the grey color, is the floor of the building. It's a building floor. So the sprinkling system will go below the floor, that is the roof. You have a control valve which will help in case if you want to change any sprinkler or carry out any repairs. you can close this control valve and manage it accordingly so that rest of the system remains live. And the way I have shown this arrow going up, this goes to multiple floors. If I have to say like if this is the first floor, this is the second, it will keep going to third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth. After this, we have a flow switch. I'll tell you the purpose of this flow switch also. In case if the sprinkler system operates due to fire, what will happen? The flow switch will give an alarm. It will trigger an alarm to a fire alarm panel, and the operators would be indicated and alerted that the fire system is operated. Clear? Going next, again there are two lines coming out here. One is the drain line, if you see here, and it is going back to the fire tank, right? This drain line going back to the fire tank. Well, if you want to drain this entire line for carrying out some kind of repair activities, this drain valve is used. Another valve which we see is the test line valve and the side glass. So when we want to test this system that yes, there is a water in this system, your flow switch is working, and in case of emergency we will have enough of water for the firefighting purpose in the sprinklers. We test this at certain frequencies. Here we simply open this valve. What happens whenever we open this valve? Water will come from here. This water would go to the drain line and back to the fire tank. The side glass will show flow of water. The flow switch will give an alarm that the system is operating. So this tells us that the system is functional and in right mannerly placed here. Okay. Going next, whatever arrangement we are able to see here, same arrangement though I have not drawn, it is going to be there on each and every floor. So all floors are going to have the same kind of arrangement. If you see the hydrant line here, this is the hydrant line which is going up, and this goes above the floor. So below floor and above floor. So it will also have multiple branches going to each and every floor, and generally you see the fire hydrants in the shafts on each and every floor. So you have hydrant boxes, you have hoses, you have a braking hammer, a key, and entire arrangement which is supposed to be there. The distance between the floor and the hydrant valve should be 0.9 meters. It shouldn't be less than that, so that people can operate it easily. Going next, if you see there is one more line here, this is also a drain line. So what is the purpose of this one more line? We already have one test line, we have a drain line for the sprinkling system. So what is the purpose of this line now? This is connected to the hydrant system. So in case if you want to check on a monthly basis as part of our routine maintenance that the jockey pump are running in automatic mode, the hydrant pumps are running in automatic mode, so we open this valve and allow this water to drain into the fire tank. As soon as the water drains, the pressure in the line reduces to the extent that the jockey pump would start automatically as per the preset value. Now this starting of jockey pump, it could be 5 kg, it could be 5.5, 6 kg, and again on and off as per this preset values. As I said, this is going to be defined and different for side to side, and that's why I am not specifying any value out here. Going further, this line, what you are able to see on the top and the tank. These lines, one is connected to your hydrant system and other is connected to the sprinkler system. This is called as the terrace fire tank. Again, for the capacities of these tanks has been specified in National Building Code of India. As per those norms, for a building which is 45 meters and above, the tank capacity should be 10,000 liters. For building which are in the range of 35 to 45 meters, the tank capacity should be 5,000 liters. And the buildings which are below 35 meters, the tank capacity should be 25,000 liters. Now what's the purpose of having this high capacity for a building which is a low height? As I said in the initial, for that particular height, that's below 35 meters, this tank, underground tank, was not mandated. But then this tank is mandatory with a higher capacity so that firefighting can be easily done. Now there are certain legends I have given you here. These lines have been specified with different colors: compensator, valves, non-return valves, sprinklers and pumps. This is just for reference purpose. In case if you have any query, question, doubt, you can refer to all those things. The system is made for automatic operation and fight fire in case an emergency. Now this particular system, why is this system installed and what's the purpose of this system? Now as per the norms, at any point in time or at any hydrant level, be it the topmost level of the hydrant, the pressure in the fire line should not be less than 3.5 kg per centimeter square. That's the minimum pressure we are supposed to maintain at the topmost level. And at any hydrant level, be it the topmost or the lowermost level, we should not have a pressure more than 7 kg, because more than 7 kg of pressure is concerned towards the safety of the operators. It might end up into a kind of accident because of the high pressure. But at the topmost, as we keep going up, the pressure reduces, and that is where 3.5 kg is given as a mandate. What happens when you open initial 1 or 2 hydrants? The pressure is maintained generally. But if we open more hydrants, what happens on the top lines or the topmost area of this firefighting system? The pressure starts reducing, and if we do not have enough of pressure, we won't have a proper jet or proper spray, and it will be difficult to fight the fire. In that case, these booster pumps, they get switched on automatically and ensure that required amount of pressure is maintained on the topmost level of the building as well. Well, now there is one unique thing about these sprinklers, and how do these sprinklers operate? Well, these operate on temperature. It is for general purpose in buildings, it is 68 degrees centigrade. Now there is something red into those glasses of the sprinklers. What that red liquid is? That red liquid is either alcohol or glycerin. The color is given red just for identification, no other purpose. So in case the temperature increases, this liquid expands, and due to higher expansion level, the glass breaks and water starts falling out of the sprinkler in a pressure, and accordingly the fire is extinguished. So that is all for today. See you in my next video. Till then, stay happy and keep learning.